once again to Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. My name is Bill McCollough, and I invite you to join us for the next hour of the finest in professional wrestling that you'll see anywhere in a square circle. And we've got tag team action to start off our matches today, and we're going to wrap it up with a six-man tag team. So if you can imagine opening up with a big tag team like we have here and closing off with a big six-man tag team, well, that's the action you're going to see on today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. But before we get into all of that and all the discussions that go with these matches, let's get this first one underway. It's one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Introducing at 240 pounds, coming from Pampa, Texas, no class, Bobby Bass. And his tag team partner today at 246 pounds, the International Heavyweight Wrestling Champion, coming from parts unknown, the Super Destroyer. And their opponents today, introducing at 215 pounds, coming from Winnipeg, Chris Pepper. And his tag team partner at 236 pounds, also coming from Winnipeg, Rick Patterson. And the referee for this first match on today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling is Ron Goguen. He has the problem of trying to separate all the action that may be going on here on today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. Opening match action, it's tag team, as you can see, and representing the Super Destroyer and no class Bobby Bass, it is Bobby Bass. And Chris Pepper representing the team of Pepper and Patterson. Nice clean break out of the corner, and Chris Pepper's not quite sure what that's all about. He's, like the rest of us, convinced that that's not the pattern for Mr. Bass and the Super Destroyer, but we've got action going, and Chris Pepper working on an armbar. No class Bobby Bass. Well, you can hear the response the fans love to hear. No class Bobby Bass in pain. And that's just exactly what he's in right now. We've got a tag, and in comes the Super Destroyer. And that didn't last too awfully long, did it? The clean breaks, that is. But Chris Pepper says, okay, I'll make you pay for that. The Super Destroyer, look at this, Chris Pepper pounding on the International Heavyweight Wrestling Champion. He's got no respect for this guy. There's a tag, and in comes Rick Patterson. The Winnipeg Connection, Patterson and Pepper. This Rick Patterson has been some impressive, I'll tell you. Look out, Super Destroyer. Flip past the ropes. Out for the big drop kick goes Rick Patterson on the Super Destroyer. Super Destroyer able to hold on just a wee bit and destroy a lot of the momentum that would have gotten with that one, but, well, you see the action that's happening here. Fast and furious. Today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling, Chris Pepper and Rick Patterson. Rick Patterson in there right now. And it's no class Bobby Bass and the Super Destroyer. Opening match action, today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. Rick Patterson with an elbow on that armbar to weaken the Super Destroyer just a little bit more. Whip off the rope, shoulder tackle, down goes the Super Destroyer, and arm drag takedown, tag, and in comes Chris Pepper. Big splash right on the left arm of the Super Destroyer. You can hear the moans all the way through. Chris Pepper showing no respect for the International Heavyweight Wrestling Champion, the Super Destroyer. Well, throughout today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling, as we indicated to you, there are a number of items that we're going to be talking to you about, so stay tuned. We'll be presenting those as they come up. And I think an eye rake there by the Super Destroyer to break up that hold on Chris Pepper, and here comes Bobby Bass. Back to the information. As we were saying, we'll pass along that information to you as time permits, and we get an opportunity to present along the latest views in the Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling circuit. Meanwhile, it's Chris Pepper working up the fans on no-class Bobby Bass. They've got him upset. But I think you can see Mr. Bass's strategy to draw Chris Pepper's attention off just a little bit, catches the fences down somewhat, and turns that situation into an advantage of his own. No class, Bobby Bass ripping on the eyes and nose of Chris Pepper while the Super Destroyer draws the referee's attention away. That's the way they work as tag teams. And you see the Super Destroyer and Bobby Bass teaming up on Chris Pepper. The knee of the Super Destroyer is waiting. And now the Super Destroyer, a big right hand to the chin of Chris Pepper, and he's not sure what country he's in. Oh. No class Bobby Bass, the manager of the International Heavyweight Wrestling Champion, the Super Destroyer, teaming up right now. And they're working over pretty well. This is Chris Pepper, young man from Winnipeg. Double whip into the corner. And there's the tag, and in Mr. Bass. Headlock, and he delivers a right hand to the forehead and eye of Chris Pepper. These guys are really working over Chris Pepper today. This card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. Rick Patterson has been jumping at the bit over there to get in, but he's not able to as Bobby Bass goes for shoulder tackles. Chris Pepper up and over to the hip toss goes Bobby Bass. Thank you, Mr. Pepper. There's the tag, and in comes the Super Destroyer. Chris Pepper tried to get away, but Bobby Bass held on to him until the Super Destroyer get in, and they continue. I thought Chris Pepper was going to have an opportunity to get a tag and get out of there, but the Mr. Bass and the Super Destroyer showing their teamwork. Working off against Chris Pepper. He's taking all the heat for Chris Pepper and Rick Patterson. And now Rick Patterson getting the fans going, trying to get Chris Pepper up and at him. Particularly Rick Patterson would love to get in there for a minute. That didn't quite work, and here comes Mr. Bass off the middle rope, right onto the chest of Chris Pepper. Chris Pepper has taken a lot of beating. For the team of Chris Pepper and Rick Patterson, this first match, we've just passed the 5-minute mark. First match action, today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. There's the tag, but referee Ron Goguen did not see it. And I doubt very much if he's going to allow it. Meanwhile, you saw the Super Destroyer and Bobby Bass nail Chris Pepper into the corner. They're going for a pin. They've got 1, 2, and just a little bit more. Chris Pepper was just about out of it. Opening match action, today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. And while we have just a second or two here, we want to pass along this notice to the fans of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. We regret to advise that Killer Carl Krupp has had to leave the Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling circuit for medical reasons. Killer Carl Krupp is under the care of a doctor and will not be working for at least the next little while. He's under the care of the doctor, and for medical reasons, Killer Carl Krupp has had to leave the Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling circuit. We wish him a very speedy recovery and hope he's back real soon. Chris Pepper trying to get out, got a shoulder tackle on the Super Destroyer. Down's the Super Destroyer, and a big elbow waiting for Chris Pepper from the Super Destroyer. Chris Pepper could not get that tag, although he was over there close to Rick Patterson. Rick Patterson unable to get the tag. we've got Chris Pepper trying to tag on Bobby Bass, and look out. Mr. Bass is out of the way. Chris Pepper having a few moments of his own here in this match against the Super Destroyer and Bobby Bass, but it's been an awful lot of Mr. Bass and the Super Destroyer on Chris Pepper. Now the fans are getting the chant up. Go, Chris, go. Chris Pepper. And he's got the tag. There it is. Here's Rick Patterson. And he's got a lot of scores he wants to settle right now. So let's meet up in the corner, he says. Bobby Bass and the Super Destroyer meeting head on. And there's Bobby Bass at the end of a drop kick, but we've got the Super Destroyer and Bobby Bass in there working over Rick Patterson. Referee Goguen is trying to get some law and order in there, but he's not having too much success. Here's Bobby Bass and Rick Patterson working. Put to the midsection of Rick Patterson. And it's Bobby Bass. And a tag for the Super Destroyer, and in comes the Super Destroyer and Rick Patterson right from the floor up. Whip into the turnbuckle. Look out, Rick Patterson. Oh, Rick Patterson just missed that one. Super Destroyer getting out of the way. And a right hand to the chin. He's got 1, 2, and kick out. Just kicking out at the last minute was Rick Patterson. There's a tag, and in comes Chris Pepper. Rick Patterson really got a sore knee after that shot. And here comes Chris Pepper. He's going to get some of his own back. He's taking a lot of punishment at the hands of the Super Destroyer and Bobby Bass, and Chris Pepper trying to get some back, but Super Destroyer using an eye gouge. And a backbreaker and a pin attempt. 1, 2, and 3. That's all she wrote. That is all she wrote for Chris Pepper. That move right off the rope by the Super Destroyer. And there you see their hands raised in victory. And I guess it's easy to see why the Super Destroyer is the International Heavyweight Champion, taking advantage of just one momentary opportunity to get that fall. So at 10 minutes and 7 seconds, we've got a fall. The winner is No Class Bobby Bass and the Super Destroyer. We're back with more Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling in just a moment. One fall with a 20-minute time limit. And you hear the response for one of the participants. So let's now do the formal introductions and get this match underway. Introducing at 290 pounds, coming from Portland, Maine, Tiny Smith. And his opponent today at 237 pounds, coming from Dorchester, Leo Burke. And the referee is Bernie Richard. Well, this match, one fall with a 20-minute time limit. It has Tiny Smith of Portland, Maine, against Leo Burke, one of the favorite wrestlers of the Atlantic area, certainly. One of the favorite wrestlers of all of Canada, the United States, wherever he's been. And, well, here he is, Leo Burke, making his return. And we've got coming to the interview table Ron Starr, certainly no stranger to the world of professional wrestling, after all being world champion. Ron, welcome to the interview area.
Thank you very much, Bill. You know, I tell you, I just wanted to come out here. I've heard about this man, Leo Burke, all over the world. Being a two-time world champion, you know, I've traveled the world quite extensively. And for some reason, our paths have always crossed, but we've just never been able to meet. I've heard a lot of good things about him, and I just wanted to come out, watch him, see what he's all about. You know, I'm always in the open for a tag team partner, or even in single competitions. Right. I made an agreement that I'd wrestle anyone, anytime, anywhere when I came to Canada. So, it's just kind of like a scouting adventure at this point.
Okay, well, Ron Starr looks on. We're going to look on and see the actions of Leo Burke and Tiny Smith in this match on today's card. And, of course, it's, I guess, indicative of the type and caliber of wrestlers that we're getting in the Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling circuit this year. When you take the likes of Ron Starr, a two-time world champion, and, of course, still a top-rated contender and one that has decided for his own reasons.
I really like this. I really like this man, this Leo Burke. I mean, look at him, Bill. Look at the way he takes a hold and he stays right on it. He works that one body area, and to me, that's the epitome of wrestling. You can get guys go in there and flip and flop all over the ring and everything. That's fine for the kind that can do it. But you don't see very many wrestlers nowadays the caliber of someone like Leo Burke. I really like the way he's got concentration on his face. He's in there for one reason and one reason only, and that's to wrestle and win his matches.
Well, of course, the end result is always to get your hand raised in victory, and, well, Leo Burke has had that done quite a number of times in his professional wrestling career. Leo Burke working over the left arm of Tiny Smith.
Bill, maybe you can tell me if I'm wrong. I've done a little research on this man, Leo Burke, and I've come to find out that this man has never been beat on TV, never been beat in the Maritimes on television. That right there is almost an impossible achievement in itself, and I've got to say the guy's he's proven to be quite a professional in there.
Okay, this match continuing, Leo Burke and Tiny Smith. Tiny Smith getting some of his own back on Leo Burke. And, of course, the research that you've done, Ron, I guess is quite indicative. And we've got Leo Burke into a bear hug right now, and that streak just may end right here and now.
Strong man in the ring there,
I'll tell you, 290 pounds. That's a big fella to have to push around. Tiny Smith working the bear hug on Leo Burke, and you can see the kind of pain that he's inflicting on Leo Burke. Just look at the pain on the face of Leo Burke, this Tiny Smith of Portland, Maine.
This is what wrestling's all about right here. When it comes down to good, hard wrestling, you got to have a maneuver, then you got to have a counter for that maneuver, and then a counter for that counter. And this is where you find out where the really great wrestlers, this is where you distinguish the men from the boys when it gets down to like this. You've got a man that weighs 290, 300 pounds putting a bear hug on you. You got to know what you're doing to get out of it. It looks like Leo knows exactly what he's doing.
Well, Leo's certainly doing his own work. He had the counter to get out of it, and doing his own to get his own efforts at, well, we thought it was going his way, but not quite. Tiny Smith up for...
Where's he going with him?
And he just couldn't quite get the leverage on Leo Burke. He was trying, but Leo was able to work the leverage off for some way or other, and he's able
by
to
getting up there and getting his point of balance past the midpoint, shaking his legs there the way he was doing, he was able to get out of it.
Up and over goes Tiny Smith.
Drop here.
Leo Burke.
Turn out the lights, people.
Going
the
for
party's
the
over. Bill, before I leave, I got to tell you one thing. I've got a very, very famous cousin in professional wrestling, and he told me before I came up here, watch out for this Leo Burke. He's a snake in the grass, but I'm going to tell you something. I've got to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. The man's one hell of a wrestler, and he can count on me anytime as a tag team partner.
That's it. That's all she wrote. Okay, thank you, Ron. That is all she wrote for Tiny Smith. Leo Burke, victorious with that hold of his, the sleeper hold. Victorious over Tiny Smith, this match on today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. Bernie Richard's going to ask Leo to bring Tiny Smith too. While he's doing that, we're going to take a break. We'll be back with more Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling in just a moment. Time limit. Let's do the introductions. At 225 pounds, coming from Dartmouth, Bruce Martin. And his opponent today at 236 pounds, coming from New Orleans, two-time world champion, Ron Starr. The referee is Ron Goguen. Two Rons in there, one on the wrestling side and one on the officiating side. Ron Starr and Bruce Martin. This match today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling, two-time World Wrestling Champion, Ron Starr. I guess you heard, different times you've heard Ron Starr talk about the type of wrestlers that he has seen in the Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling circuit. And when you get the world champion, several occasions, talking about the caliber, you know that you've got the top-notch caliber here of professional wrestling in the Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling circuit. Up and over goes Bruce Martin, and the shoulder tackle, down goes Bruce Martin. Down again, and look at this man, Ron Starr, go. I'll tell you, that guy flies around that ring. He is some athlete, this guy. This guy, Ron Starr, is just a mover and a shaker all the way through. And Bruce Martin has his hands full. Of course, to Bruce Martin's credit, you've got to give him credit for taking on this match with the two-time world champion. Just imagine how much his stocks would increase in the world of professional wrestling if he was able to score what would have to be termed an upset victory over this Ron Starr. And Ron Starr holding on to that armbar. And as we've indicated in the past, and of course he acknowledged, the best professional wrestlers will work on one particular part of the body and really weaken that part of the body, gain control. You see Ron Starr is working on the left arm of Bruce Martin. In this match, today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. Tremendous action, week in, week out, right here on Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. Whipped into the turnbuckle goes Bruce Martin. Bruce Martin, with the presence of mind, Ron Starr was going to drive Bruce Martin right through those ropes. But Bruce Martin had other ideas for Ron Starr. And Bruce Martin making a very commendable showing here against the two-time world champion, Ron Starr. And as we indicate, what a shot to the chin on Ron Starr. Bruce Martin getting a count of 2. Looks like these fellas are going to stay down on the canvas and just get it on. It's rumble time here on Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. Ron Starr up and over. And that's his takedown. I'll tell you, 1, 2, and 3. That's it. That is all she wrote. Ron Starr said, I've had all of this I'm going to take. And you saw, being whipped off the ropes like that, he was able to take advantage of that opportunity right quick. And down goes Bruce Martin for the 1, 2, 3 count. We'll be back with more great wrestling on Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling in just a moment. Time limit. Introducing at 237 pounds, coming from Alaska, the Alaskan Bear. And his opponent today at 262 pounds, coming from the Mizir tribe, let's welcome the great Malumba. And the referee is Bernie Richard. This match on today's card, 1 fall, 20-minute time limits. Got the Bear against the great Malumba. Oh, the great Malumba getting warmed up, and here the Alaskan Bear wasn't going to have much to do with that. So great Malumba went and found him. Whoop off the ropes, and big right hand waiting for the Bear. We'll see how the Bear makes out against the great Malumba. Great Malumba having many thoughts on his mind these days. He has some people in mind that he'd like to annihilate and get rid of. Maybe the Bear is one of them as he works on the leg of the Bear, the Great Malumba. Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. While we've got just a second or two and the Bear in great pain on the floor and the step over toe hold by the Great Malumba. Look at the build on this man. Can you imagine what that would do to your leg? The average person? I tell you what, that would straighten you out pretty good. And he's right back at it. Well, while we've got a second, we'd like to say hello to the sick and shut-ins, the ones who aren't able to get out to the arenas each and every week. We'd just like to thank you for your many cards and letters, and, well, we appreciate bringing the opportunity of bringing Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling into your living rooms or wherever you happen to be seeing it. And we'd like to thank you for all of those cards and letters. We really appreciate them, and we know that you appreciate what we're doing for the fans in the Atlantic Canada area, bringing this Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling right into your television screen wherever it may be located. The Great Malumba, not able to keep the Bear away from the ropes, but he just hauls him off. Bear tried to get a break on that. He was looking for some relief. That left leg of his is going to look like a pretzel if the Great Malumba keeps twisting away on it. Look at that. Oh, I can feel that pain right up here. The Great Malumba. Look at his left leg on his right leg, and now, the Bear doesn't want any part of that, but okay, and he gets the hole broken. The Great Malumba and the Alaskan Bear. And the Bear trying to shake off the effect of the Great Malumba twisting his leg around like a pretzel, and the Bear comes in and takes advantage of an opportunity and gets an eye gouge. And that apparently is the only effective way we've seen anybody. The only effective way we've seen anybody be able to handle this guy, the Great Malumba, at all, to get any advantage on him at all, is to work over the eyes and the face and try to get something going there and change the momentum a bit, because I'll tell you, what do you do with this guy? He's about 270 pounds, and he is just all muscle. The Great Malumba from the Mazur tribe in Africa. Headbutt to the midsection of the Bear. And again, the eye gouge by the Bear on the Great Malumba. This Bear has been all over North America. He's not a fancy wrestler, but I'll tell you, he gets the job done, and he is one tough customer. The Great Malumba. He's getting that victory dance going. He wants and smells a victory here on the Bear. Look at the intensity on that man's face as he gets the bear hug on the Alaskan Bear, and the Bear says, yeah, that's it. That's all I want. That's all I can handle. 4 minutes, 22 seconds is what it took for the Great Malumba to have his hand raised in victory over the Alaskan Bear on this match of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. We're back with more professional wrestling and a great match coming up in just a moment right here on Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. We're back in just a second. We have chaos in the making, and it's called a six-man tag team. Well, let's try and get the introductions underway and let this match get going. Introducing at 242 pounds, Mr. Irresistible, Sweet Daddy Siki. And he's accompanied by Lenny, Montana. Introducing at 232 pounds, coming from Philadelphia, Rockey, DelaSerra. And their tag team partner today at 236 pounds, coming from Havana, Cuba, the eighth wonder of the world, the Cuban Assassin. And their opponents today at 242 pounds, coming from Toronto, Ron Rich. At 223 pounds, coming from South Carolina, Ryan O'Connor. And at 325 pounds, coming from the Yukon, Mountain Mike. Fans, this is chaos in the making. It's a six-man tag team, and I cannot recall in my years of working professional wrestling of ever seeing a six-man tag on television. But here you have it, right here on Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling, and this should be something else again. Six-man tag, and it's the Cuban Assassin and Ron Rich starting things off. We're going to try and keep some names and numbers and everything straight for you here in this match on today's card. Look out! Ron Rich is down, Cuban Assassin, and flying arm drag, another one. And here's Sweet Daddy Siki. And Rockey DelaSerra comes in, and he's the recipient of a flying arm drag. And, well, Ron Rich has cleaned house. He's cleaned house on the Cuban Assassin, Sweet Daddy Siki, and Rockey DelaSerra. Ron Goguen says, no, not you, Rocky. It's the Cuban Assassin this time. He's still in there. Okay, we've got six-man tag team chaos in the making. And, well, speaking of chaos, look who comes over to the interview table. None other than no-class Bobby Bass. And I don't know who he's looking at. Look out! Look out, Cuban Assassin. Ron Rich is up in the lights with those drop kicks. I'll tell you, fans, this is something else again. It's rumble time here in Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling.
I see Leonard back.
You see, oh, yes, okay, you go ahead.
No, I just want to say that Leonard looking real good.
Yeah, very good.
And you want to keep looking real good. I think the best thing for Leonard to do is mind his own business. I just want to say that. That's all I want to say.
I see, okay, that's all you want.
He's back, he's looking real good. But
you're
don't
talking
forget
about Leo Burke, eh?
Leonard, yes.
Leonard,
Thanks.
okay. Whatever you think.
I stopped at the Vance before, and I'll stop it again, Daddy. That's all I want to say on the subject.
Okay. Well,
Get back and do this match.
Yes, we've got a match. We got Rockey DelaSerra back. And, well, no class Bobby Bass says he stopped him before, and he'll stop him again. And talking Leonard, I don't know. You have to wonder at that guy sometimes. Stops all the time. Meanwhile, we've got Mountain Mike, who's got himself in the wrong corner. And he picks up the Cuban and delivers him outside the ring, and a big right hand to the Cuban. Okay, sweet man, you want it? Sweet Daddy Siki comes in and he says, okay. And Mountain Mike gets the sweet man out and drives him up against the studio wall. And here comes Rockey DelaSerra. What do you do with this man, Mountain Mike? What would you ever do? Well, it's a Cuban Assassin, then. The sweet man can't do it. Well, Rockey DelaSerra says he's going to try, but now it's Sergeant Ryan O'Connor. This young man is some impressive, I'll tell you. He was quite impressed with this guy. Shoulder tackle. And I saw an opportunity and went right back for the headlock. He thought DelaSerra had some other thoughts in mind right there. But Sergeant Ryan O'Connor hung on, and he's even hung on to that. I'll tell you, this Ryan O'Connor, and we've got Ron Rich, Mountain Mike teamed up against Rockey DelaSerra, Sweet Daddy Siki, and the Cuban Assassin, and look out. Big knee waiting for Sergeant Ryan O'Connor, courtesy of Rockey DelaSerra from the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. He whipped him right into that turnbuckle. His feet didn't touch for the last 3 or 4 feet. Look out! There's a tag, and in comes Ron Rich. We've passed the 4-minute match mark in this match of chaos. 1-2. But Sweet Daddy Siki was in to break that one up. And here's Ron Rich again, going for a suplex on Rockey DelaSerra, and he's got A pin attempt, but no, the Cuban's not going to let that happen. Rockey DelaSerra, meanwhile, wants to give it up. We've got a most fouls to curfew match here. Rockey DelaSerra at the hands of Man Mountain Mike, and he's not very impressed by all of this. Whoa. You get kicked by that fella, you know you've been kicked. Whoa! Whoa! Oh. Just bouncing around that ring. Man Mountain Mike just whipped him into that turnbuckle. Whoa! And Rockey DelaSerra and Sweet Daddy Siki showing they perhaps have worked together in tag team action. One draws the attention of the big man, and the other one is sneaking in behind. And that's just what happened. And got some momentum change. Look at the Sweet Daddy Siki fly. I'll tell you, this man is incredible. Tag, and in comes the Cuban assassin, and they're teaming up on Man Mountain Mike, the big fellow from the Yukon. And they need two of them in a lot of cases. Oh, the Cuban assassin go for a headbutt, and I don't know who got the worst of that one. Meanwhile, Man Mountain Mike is held by DelaSerra and Sweet Daddy Siki. And Man Mountain Mike with the headbutt. And he's got rid of Sweet Daddy Siki and the Cuban, and here comes Rockey DelaSerra. I tell you, Man Mountain Mike remembers DelaSerra coming in from behind just a few minutes ago. As we approach the 6-minute mark in this match on today's card, this is chaos in action. I'll tell you, whoa! That's just like running into a brick wall. Whoa! You gotta give this Rockey DelaSerra some credit. He's still in there. This is some kind of match, fans. This is something else. Rockey DelaSerra and Ron Rich going for a pin. He's got one. That's one to bet, and then Sweet Daddy Siki's in to break it up. Rockey DelaSerra coming right from, showing the kind of street fighter he is. He's right from the old street and pounding away on Ron Rich. Rockey DelaSerra getting his second win and showing the kind of professional he is. He was almost down and out a few seconds ago, but he's right back at it. How many times you can call on that second reserve, I don't know. This Rockey DelaSerra was able to do it, and he's got tagging in the Cuban assassin against Ron Rich. Ron Rich, certainly one of the top wrestlers out of the Big Apple, Toronto. We got a tag, and in comes Rockey DelaSerra again. And they're whipping Ron Rich, double whip into the turnbuckle. I'll tell you, Ron Rich is ready to go. And the Cuban assassin in. The fans are claiming the Cuban assassin is using those foreign objects. He's been accused of arenas around the Atlantic Grand Prix area of using brass knuckles. And we see Ron Rich is now cut open. He's got a bad cut on the chin where he's been nailed with perhaps those brass knuckles that we were talking about, or what the fans were talking about. And we've got upset fans. We had chaos in the making, and it's here. A 6-man tag. You're going to have war. And war we've got. Ron Rich getting the worst of it right now. He's all blood. And again, the Cuban using what it looks like. We got a close-up shot there. Look, you can see the Cuban assassin is using some kind of object, and this is we're going to have a stop put to this. There is absolutely no way this can be permitted to continue. The Cuban assassin using foreign objects, and you can see the blood all over Ron Rich as he's been cut wide open. I'm not sure that's what it was for. And Ron Rich with a reversal on Sweet Daddy Siki. He gets a tag, and in comes Man Mountain Mike. And Ron Rich needed a break badly. And he's going to get it as Man Mountain Mike starts to clean house on Sweet Man and Rockey DelaSerra and the Cuban Assassin. Whoa. Up into that big bear hug goes Sweet Daddy Siki. But the Cuban Assassin is able to... We've got more changes going on here. We'll just let you watch the action, fans, because it is something else again. Ron Rich, takedown on Sweet Daddy Siki. Look at that shot to the chin. 1, 2. He might have had 3, but Cuban Assassin was in to break it up. Going for the abdominal stretch is Ron Rich, but no. And in comes Ryan O'Connor on Sweet Daddy Siki. Whip off the rope, shoulder tackle. Sweet Daddy Siki was able to just get out of the way. An eye rake, and I'll tell you, fans, it's happening fast and furious here as the Sweet Man goes for the neck breaker. He's got a count of 1, 2, and 3. That's it. He has got a count of 3, and we still have 4 minutes left to go here in this, our most falls to curfew match. And they get a quick count of 3 on Ryan O'Connor. You can see the punishment that Sweet Daddy Siki inflicts on his opponent. Now the fans are hollering at Rockey DelaSerra as the Cuban Assassin keeps the referee's attention. Now we've got the resumption of action at 11 minutes and 7 seconds. We had a fall. We've got about 3 minutes left. And we've got triple teaming on Ryan O'Connor, who's not in the best of shape after taking that big fall. The hands of Sweet Daddy Siki up and over. Rockey DelaSerra into the pin attempt, but he's out. Sweet Daddy Siki is in, and it's just happening fast and furious. Keep your eyes on the screen because it's happening all over the place. Rockey DelaSerra going for a pin. He's got 1, 2, and a kick out just at the last minute by Sergeant Ryan O'Connor. O'Connor now into the small package. 1, 2, and a kick out by DelaSerra. We get a tag, and in comes Ron Rich. Whip into the turnbuckle, and and we've got a pin here. 1, 2. We've got about 2 minutes left in this, our most falls to curfew match on today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. And a pin. 1, 2. And the Cuban Assassin wasn't going to let that happen. They've got 1 fall. Another pin. 1, 2. And in comes the Cuban. We've got the Cuban and Rockey DelaSerra, and fans, we got everybody in there. Everybody's into the action in this one. Ryan O'Connor's got Rockey DelaSerra. Ron Rich has got the Sweet Daddy Siki. Man Mountain Mike and the Cuban Assassin. Fans, chaos has broken out here in this 6-man tag. It was a riot all the way, and it is a riot right now. You can see everybody's in the corner. They're all sandwiched in one corner there, and I'll tell you, Sweet Daddy Siki, the Cuban Assassin, and Rockey DelaSerra are the ones that, well, they probably got the worst of that. There's certainly no laws to this kind of a match. It's just go and clean house, and that's just about what they're doing. They're cleaning house. Everybody is just, it's just fast and furious. Out goes Ryan O'Connor. right into the studio wall. And now Rockey DelaSerra and Sweet Daddy Siki of Ryan O'Connor. You can see just a shot of it there. Ring the bell, that's it. Referee Ron Goguen says, that's all. That's the end of that. Okay, that's the end of this match. It's all of the stuff that's happened, and he's just disqualified one of the team of Siki, Assassin, and DelaSerra. We'll be back to wrap up our program on today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling in just a moment.